I wasn't invited to anything in London starting out. For a little style out, yes. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to New York. Boy, did we have a ball in London town. I hope you guys enjoyed my vlogs from that trip. Literally had the best time ever. I thought it would be fun to do a sit down video. First of all, I feel like I haven't done one in forever. We've just been out and about the past like however many videos. And so I thought it would be nice to do like a catch up kind of Q&A situation, but also a Q&A where we're unpacking both New York Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, talk about the differences, the similarities, how they compare, my favorite parts, my favorite shows, all that jazz. But before we get into that, I really want to show you the few pieces. I didn't get anything too crazy in London, but just some fun things that I did pick up while I was there. I thought this would be a good combination of video of sorts. So what I got in London haul, try on haul of course, and then a little debrief fashion week with me Q&A. Without further ado, because I'm a chatty little girl, let's get into what I got in London. I'm so excited. I had big plans to make a serious purchase. Ashley Williams London. I really wanted to get the I Heart Me sweat set. Over Street Market, it had said that her stuff was carried there, but they did not have any of the I Heart Me items. I think they just had the flats, which retailed for like $400, $500, and I was like, whoa. I don't know, I need to intercept it when it's on sale or something. I don't really have cute sweat sets. That's a big investment I really want to make this fall winter, because they say it every year to you guys especially. I'm like, I don't have cute cozy clothes, cute comfy clothes. Like, okay, it's time to shut up and start investing into it, because everybody's done hearing about it, especially me. That was the big purchase I was expecting to make while I was in London. Didn't end up happening. That's all right. As you guys know, me and Raina, our first day there, went to Brick Lane, popped to a bunch of vintage shops. We didn't nearly have enough time to go everywhere that we wanted to go to. And there were so many shops that my like friends had sent me in places, and they were just scattered around London. And gosh, is London huge. So like, we weren't able to go to all the places, which is fine because again, we were there for work. Wasn't there to spend money. I was spending a lot of money just getting my booty to London. So like, I didn't really need that. But this didn't count because I bought these ahead of time. And I was messaging, as I do, with Miss Flora. I'll put both her Instagrams here. Flora Finds. Boy, does Flora have finds. It's actually crazy. She wrote me this incredible note, and it's literally the swing, which you guys know. Me and this painting, we go way back, and this was really cute that her note was on this postcard. Anyways, this I will cherish forever. Flora, you are an absolute delight and the sweetest ever, and I cannot thank you enough for the kind words in here and for gushing over vintage finds with me via DM, as we do, especially thinking of me for when she found these shoes. So she basically came across these insane, let me tell you, Dolce & Gabbana heels. They're from their fall winter 2016 runway show. I will put up the look. I think it's look 22. Dolce & Gabbana, very controversial. These are secondhand. I wouldn't purchase or like flat out support the brand. So stylistically on brand. And when Flora floats something magical in your lap, you do not say no. But obviously it's a complex relationship with Dolce & Gabbana. These shoes, there's nothing complex about them. I needed them. Flora bought them. I bought them off of her. This little clasp right here, it's like an elastic, so I believe it's just supposed to stretch out and you just kind of slip your foot in. We knew this when Flora bought them. She's based in the UK. I'm not able to like access the UK Vinted and all of its wonder and magic. Next time I come to London, I'm putting my location as the UK, and I'm gonna shop on Vinted like crazy and just send it all to my hotel. Because I had Flora send this to my hotel, the Treehouse Hotel. They hosted me and Raina for one night, which was so special. It was truly a dream. Flora held them for me for like 2 weeks in her apartment, which was so incredibly nice. I cannot thank you enough, Miss Flora. Spending like 20 minutes talking about these shoes. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna take them to the cobbler because they just have a few quirks. This little guy's missing here. I could probably even find some of these metallic little bolts and do it myself for what Flora was able to score them for, which was like, I think under 50 bucks. USD. Then it was like maybe more with like taxes and stuff, and like when I PayPal'd her the conversion, it was like 50-60. And just like, would you just get a look? The heel is just really something special here. So excited about these. Thank you, Flora. You are an absolute star. I'm so grateful. These are so fabulous and I can't stop looking at them. The first purchase when I got there, which I pretty much knew I was going to buy immediately, was £7. Union Jack umbrella. Me and Raina were talking to Julia, who is the millennial decorator. If you guys are familiar with her work, at the airport, because we were all on the same flight to London. She was there for Manolo Blahnik's Marie Antoinette collection that they were dropping. So incredible. She's incredible. I love Julia so much. We were talking and she showed me a picture on Instagram. She's like, these are my London vibes, like obsessed. And it was a girl with a Union Jack umbrella, and I was like, girl, I need that umbrella. One, I expected it to rain a ton in London and I wasn't gonna pack an umbrella, so I was like, I'll just buy a crappy umbrella when I'm there. Didn't end up raining, like literally at all. I think it misted for like 2 seconds. But anyways, I love it for the vibes. Politically, the whole world is in shambles right now, and I was made aware by many people, so kind. If that was you, thank you so much. Similar to kind of how the American flag, I mean, we all have our own issues and histories, is sort of like a negative, or it's like just weird to be repping the American flag at this time just because there's so many issues with our government and what's going on right now. People are using the British flag, the Union Jack, I should say, to kind of support like anti-immigration, like racist rhetoric, which is so scary and not my intention at all. You guys know I love the Union Jack in a stylistic way. You see it a ton in 90s fashion, grunge fashion, Vivienne Westwood. So many brands use it, and it's almost like a camp kind of anti-government way. And so that was kind of my intention. It was never my intention to support any of that narrative, rhetoric, any of that. So that's just a disclaimer I felt like making, and I felt like it would have been weird if I'm like wearing the belt and saying all these things and like showing me use the umbrella after some of you made me aware of like the layers and how even more so now it's being used in that way, you know? So I just wanted to say that that was not my intention at all. That is not how I'm using it. And again, even when I'm like using the American flag, I have to make that disclaimer too. I have like this sequin American flag bra. I used it in a shoot, and I was like, I promise you it's camp. I do not support this administration whatsoever. That's my umbrella. I didn't really use it. I hope people digest me and my content and who I am as a person first and understand that that would like not align. But again, that's never enough. So you gotta be very clear in times like this. So that is where my intentions lie. I do not support any of that. And if you do, please get off my channel. All right. Now, that being said, the next thing I bought, I like to do them in the order that I bought them just because the stories kind of come out in that way and it kind of stacks on each other. This situation, I want to call this an aviator kind of cap situation. It looks like a hat that a pilot, Amelia Earhart, would wear, but like 2025 because it's pink and polka dot. I clocked this in the storefront. I'll show you the photo. I needed it immediately. I was like, whatever that is, however much that is, as long as it's like under 50 even, which it was on sale. It was at one of those like discount leather, often like dead stock shops with like no name on it, but I feel like I took a photo of it. I'm gonna put it here, put the name if I can find it, of the shop. This I fear was one of one, the like actual polka dot, but there were more colors. I don't like buying leather new, but because it was like on sale, I made an exception with this, and I know I'm going to get so much use out of it. I also don't know if it's real leather. They were telling me everything else was real leather and not this, and it was discounted. Either way, I did in fact need it for like styling projects. I have a vision and I cannot wait to execute it with this piece in particular. It also happens to be reversible, which is super fab. It's so fun. This kind of looks like it's denim. It's not, but it looks it, which is actually kind of cool. I love a 2-in-1 hat. It's a polka dot peeking out. Come on now. It's kind of like a wool material. Throw this guy on for you. Obviously not style with the hair, like it's gonna be a funky vibe. I low-key feel like I just saw Emma Chamberlain wearing a cap just like this, but it was really, really tight and black, kind of everything. It's so fab. Very, very excited about this. Wait, I want to try on the glasses with it too. I did get these glasses. I got these at, I think the store was called Brick Lane. I know the area is Brick Lane, but I believe the store was called it. They had a bunch of these in different colors. The butter yellow was just speaking to me. I was just into like the size of the frame, like how drama it was. Really cool like quilting detail on the sides. It kind of looks like little like geometric hearts, but maybe it's just meant to look like quilting. Like, yes! This still being attached is taking me out. Come on, for a little style out, yes. Moving on. Okay, this dress. You guys, I'm so obsessed with this. 20 pounds. I expected this to be over 100 bucks just because it's so cool. Retail associate was like, when she was checking me out, she was like, I love this dress. Like, it's, what'd she say? Iconic. And I was like, iconic in a British accent. Like, I love when Susie says iconic. Like, her in the back of this video.
It's iconic. That was iconic.
Like the, you know what I mean? It's like Charlie X says iconic. get into this dress. It says sex is nostalgia of sex. It's like multi-textural. This is beaded, but it's like matte, so you can't even really see that it's like shiny beaded. This one's partially beaded, which is so sick. And then these are more like printed on, and then all the flowers and the colors, and it's like a midi length. I'll try it on for you, of course. There's no zipper or anything. You just slip it on, and I didn't even try it on, I don't think. No, I didn't try it on. I was like, I just know it's gonna fit, and like if it doesn't, I'll use it for styling. It's 20 pounds. I love this piece. I'll hang it on my wall if it doesn't fit. I love it so much. But I had a feeling, slipped it on, perfect fit. I'm obsessed. I need to be buying dresses, but only for wedding guest dresses, or like wedding appropriate, nice family, you know, appropriate dresses. This one, it's white. Okay, and then it says like sex is nostalgia of sex. Like, I don't really care. I love it so much. Now that's a penalty though. I cannot buy clothes unless it's a dress, and if it's a dress, family appropriate wedding guest dress, or like rehearsal dinner, or like, you know what I mean? You guys, 9 weddings and counting. But yeah, anyways, this dress, literally to die for. I cannot wait to style it. Sierra O'Day on Instagram, TikTok. I love her. She has these insane Prada like purple socks. This would be like sickening with those, or like the Miu Miu little just like arch socks, and like a sickening Prada pump. Like this shoe, whatever shoe is with this, it needs to be like just as major. I don't really know if I have that shoe like in my possession just yet. Last 2 pieces. Oh, I wish, okay, wait. These were from the same store, and I believe it was just called Brick Lane. Probably won't wear them together, but I could. It'd be major either way. Really excited to style all of them. And I'm due for a styling video, so we're gonna have to do a little something something. Us too. These were from, I had to look up the Instagram name again, Hidden Archive. It's a bummer, they don't allow for like tagging, so I wasn't able to tag them on any of my stories or in my posts or whatever, but Hidden Archive is the Instagram. They were in the Brick Lane Vintage Market, like this whole situation. She was so fabulous. You guys are gonna know that, of course, I was obsessed with the shop once they show you the visuals. It was insane. The second I locked eyes on her whole situation, I was like, Raina, give me an hour, girl. Like, it's gonna take me a minute in here. So I did spend a really long time sifting through all her stuff. But what I did get, because as you guys know, I'm obsessed with like footless socks, like I was just talking about. I think it's such a fun styling piece, so huge, and goes with like every shoe. It's amazing with a peep toe heel if you're not a big fan of like seeing the toe of the tight, which I don't love personally. Don't love seeing the seam that aligns with your toe in a tight. So like a toeless sock, I don't know, they're just seasonless to me. I love them so much. These, I believe she said they were 1940s. Super nice elastic, and they do fit me. They're a little tight on the thigh, which like every vintage anything's a little tight on my thigh, but I'm making them work. They're also so good for styling and work. I love them. I love the little beige detail ruffling. It's so lovely. Color pink is a bit more blush than you're seeing on camera right now. The little ankle matches the little ruffle. So good. Once I saw that they were toeless, I was like, oh, these are so coming home with me. It's actually crazy. The last thing I got are these fabulous gloves. Me and Susie was after the Yaku presentation. Is that right? We were walking around. There were a bunch of pop-up-y street vendors, a lot of trench coats, a lot of leather jackets. So Susie was shopping around a bit, and then we stumbled upon this like glove guide. You guys know I love a fingerless glove. I love a moto glove. And Susie, we were talking about her look for Sinead Gorey that night, because they dressed her for the night and gave her a dress to style. And so we were kind of talking about like, what's the look, what's the vibe, and the moto gloves she got, to me, I love them with a look. This is your look, honey baby. That was me to Susie. I was like, yes, I'm obsessed. I love a glove. These were 15 euros. Had to have them strictly because of this like slutty little cutout. It did everything for me. They're chocolate brown. As you guys know, one of my favorite bags is like this exact chocolate brown leather. The little bow just took me out. I'm just obsessed with that, with the mix of like the really tight pleathery, leathery, like, oh, I'm just so into it. And then the eyelet cutouts, it's so sexy and like cute. I'm obsessed, and I'm proud of myself that I didn't buy 5 pairs, because I was about to. Any glove with a cutout like this, I'm like, why are you trying to seduce me? I don't know, there's something very sensual about it, and I'm into it. And I also love, because of the eyelet cutouts, you can see your nail polish through the glove, which is everything. Got this like Barbie pink, which you guys know I wear as like my blush. It's one of my favorite colors. Obsessed with it, because I'm going to a wedding, speaking of weddings, this weekend. Filming this kind of early, and my whole ensemble is pink. I literally brought the dress to match my nails to it. My nail girl was like so dedicated to it. She was grabbing the dress. She was like, I love it. I love when someone matches your freak and takes something just as serious, and they're like, let's do this. I keep thinking and feeling like there was more, but that is it. I kept that all in a bag since I got back to show you guys, and I'm so excited to finally break it out and wear it all. It was such a ball. I'm so happy with all these pieces. I'm going to cherish them. They're so special, and all of them will remind me of my trip to London. And now we're gonna get to the Q&A portion, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about the trip, my experience, fashion week. Let's get into it. Sorry if the angle changed at all. I asked you guys on my Instagram story, that's where I do any kind of interactive questionnaire situation, put this story up, and you guys sent the best questions, as you always do. I also do want to flag, I'll be doing another styling my subscribers video and a closet sale soon. Like mid-October will be the closet sale, I believe. So I'll be posting about that a ton on my Instagram. All that info will be over there, so follow me over there if you care about that stuff. That's also where I'll have people like send me stuff for styling my subscribers and doing fun little more interactive videos, which is like definitely the goal this year. I want to do more of those. I loved doing the first one. I'll put it here if you want to check it out if you didn't watch it. It was so much fun. I definitely want to do more of those for sure. So as I said before, I asked you guys to ask me questions, whether it be about New York Fashion Week, London Fashion Week as a whole, or just general questions, industry questions. I feel like there's so much unspoken, the rules are there but they're not, of like Fashion Week, and it's like you know what it is but you actually don't. Like all this stuff I'll get asked, like last season it's like, what are you doing? Are you doing Paris? Are you doing Milan this year? And it's like, am I doing? It's just such an interesting concept, and just like how people treat it here. I've never been flown out really to do any sort of work abroad, and this case was no different. So I got a question. My biggest question is how you were able to go. There wasn't a brand or any particular thing I did within my career that was like, okay, I'm able to go to London Fashion Week now. And it's interesting, I totally get why people would frame it like that or see it like that, because it seems like you have to have like certain requirements or like be at a certain place to be invited to certain things or be within this fashion week, but it's because it's pitched as so exclusive, but it's often really not. And that's something that was like so mind-blowing too, to see how it was done in London, because I feel like it was very different from New York, and I'll go into that. I was able to go to London Fashion Week because I basically saved up and made it happen for myself. I wasn't invited to anything in London. Starting out, I knew I wanted to go to London Fashion Week early, so I knew any UK based brand that I loved and saved. I also do this like just subconsciously, is like I will save brands that I'm loving no matter where they are, but if I know that they're based in certain cities that I want to go to, especially like Fashion Week related stuff like Paris, Milan, London, Copenhagen, etc., I'll save those, and like Instagram saves like Paris brands, London brands. So I went back into those brands and tried to find their PR contacts, asked a lot of my friends and other industry people for PR contacts of certain brands, and these are people that I've spent years working with and have like great relationships with, and people who ask me for contacts and stuff. So it's kind of like a delicate dance that you do with people, because I never want people to think that I'm being transactional or only using them for certain connects. So it takes a lot to build these relationships, and I cherish them so much with everybody that I have them with. I love New York for that so much, because this industry is so small and so collaborative, and then it could also be quite exclusive. And so when you find those people that are open and care and kind of you have that mutually beneficial relationship, it's so beautiful. So it was a lot of that. It was a lot of just like email scraping, and I emailed and DM'd every person I was reaching out to. What I found with London, I was going regardless, was the plan. I'm just going to show up. And what I've been told for Paris Fashion Week and like other European fashion weeks is like oftentimes it just takes getting there, getting to the city, and you kind of figure it out. Part of it is like posting on your social media that you'll be there. It's also just like going to things, like being out and about, like dressing how you would dress, carrying yourself in your certain way, being who you are, and like popping to events if you know the location, and like seeing if you could get in that way, or just like connecting with people there, meeting people if you're in the city where things are happening, and like go to certain places where you know the fashion week things are happening too, just like meeting people, connecting, seeing what's going on. But like part of that is just like showing up and being in the city. I was like, okay, that's something. But what I did find is a lot more people responded to me through DM than through their like PR agency. PR agencies got back to me, but then they'd be like, thank you so much for reaching out to this blank presentation. We really appreciate your interest. We will get back to you as we are trying to like figure out capacity and accommodating like certain people at this time. And it would be like, that would be a week before, then like I'd follow up, no response, and I'd follow up again. And they'd kind of be like, we're still figuring it out. It'd be like the day of or day before event. It turns out like via DM, either the designer or someone on their team would be like, sounds great, come. And I was like, what do you mean come? Because in New York, like, I'm showing my invite, I'm showing my RSVP, my QR code, my like seat placement to every person. I'm getting checked like 3 times. No matter what door or line or person I'm working with, PR person, whether I know them personally, unless they're like my best friends who I work with a lot and work a ton of stuff in fashion week, so like I'm a lucky duck when it comes to them. But I'm like always on edge in New York. I never know if they're gonna be at max capacity or whatever. I just have like all my screenshots ready, all my emails up when I'm attending something in New York, because it's that serious. And again, I've styled a few shows now at this point to have experienced kind of the seating and the behind the scenes of all of that, whether the designers doing all of that for themselves or they have like a PR company that's coming in and doing it. It's seats and capacity and space in New York is like really, really tight and really tricky, and people do it a certain way, and so it is hard with invites and stuff sometimes. So it is completely understandable. In other cases it's not, and people just want to be exclusive and people just want to be a bitch, you know what I mean? So it could be, you know, both can exist at the same time, but also it can also be very understandable. What I found in London, which was so beautiful, was like way less of like the mini mic interviewee kind of thing, more just people showing up, happy to be there, getting in line, saying a name, or like showing a screenshot. I showed a DM from the designer. There were just so many moments where it was kind of just like, all right. And I was like, really? Like, do you want to double check? Like, no, like it was kind of like, if you care enough, you show up to be here, you're fitted out, like, come on it. That kind of seemed like it was the vibe. And again, y'all could correct me, people who have done London Fashion Week a million times, people who are from London, you guys can correct me too. Maybe it was just the designers and the brands and the people that I went to see. Again, my niche, I'm just very much still an up and coming stylist, so I'm not the most established. I'm not going to the huge brand name shows. I'm not seeing the major fashion houses present. So I am intercepting like emerging brands at this time and like going to a certain scale of show. But someone like Deepetza, who is a designer that I've looked at for a while and really admired her work and her brand ethos as well, I just have never expected that I would be able to go to a Deepetza show. I went as Susie's invite, but she was sending me screenshots of how their team was communicating with her, and it was also so beautifully casual and kind and just like human, and they were just like kind of DMing like super chill. And I was like, this is so crazy to me, because it's so, depending on the show or the person or the PR group, it would be so scary to show up to a show in New York that you're not invited to and be like, can I get in? Do you have walk-in, standing room, anything? I'd be a bit more scared to do that in New York than how I felt in London. It felt like if I just had the address, I could show up to a show and be like, you have any room? And I wish I did. I wish I did that for Ashley Williams London. I would have loved to have been at that show. It looked absolutely incredible. I was really trying to get an invite to that show, but it didn't happen this year. But just the energy around it all just seemed so much more positive and kind of about the art and the experience, a bit less cloudy of sorts. Because New York Fashion Week's not a reflection of New York as a city. It's big on the TikTok thing and the follower thing and just like placing people with a ton of prestige and like who has the biggest impact, and not so much about industry people or community. You know, some things can be, but a lot of things aren't. So it seemed a little bit kind of like more community based in London. Again, I'm not part of the London community, I'm visiting, but I think from the way I was expressing myself about how interested I was in going to the certain things that I reached out to, or when Susie asked if she could bring me to certain things, it just seems like people were so willing. And I was really blown away by that. So that was one of my biggest differences that I saw within both fashion weeks. But circling back to the literal question at hand, I saved up a ton of money to be able to go. I bought my tickets really early. We split an Airbnb and we like did a ton of research on it and tried to find a place that was like cost effective and buy the tube, buy the buses, and we tried to use public transportation the most we could. I think we Ubered literally once. We tried to save where we could, obviously, but we knew this trip was a work expense. So like everything that I did in London, I put on my business card. So I have a dedicated credit card that I will, end of my year summary for my taxes, I submit the entire thing, because everything I'm putting on that card is a business expense. So everything I did in London, whether I was capturing it for content, I was doing styling work, I was networking, meeting people for coffee. So I've worked with my tax woman on this. I've talked to my mom, I've talked to industry people about this. One of the best things you could do for your career, frankly, is to like just go to these cities and connect. And it is so important to me in my career to be more established abroad. I really have wanted that for my whole life, if you will. I went into college my freshman year, was like knocking down the doors of study abroad to make sure that I'd be able to go. Once I did, I was trying to like maximize my time there and ensure I will be back. I wanted to study, I wanted to learn French. I need to bring that back, by the way. I need to bring back that hunger for the language. Traveling and establishing myself in more of the global scale fashion industry and connecting with people across the pond is and has always been the goal for me. So I knew this was going to be worth it. The original plan was to do Copenhagen, London, and Paris. I was going to go to Copenhagen with Kieran. London I was going to do with Raina, and Paris I was going to do alone, but I knew I would have friends in the city. Copenhagen fell through. There were like a bunch of reasons why, like timing wise, a lot of like family stuff. It was just, it didn't make sense. But Copenhagen is, Kieran and I, one of our favorite cities ever, and we really want to go back in the summer because we only went when it was 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That shit was crazy, but it was so much fun. We were like, perfect, let's line it up when Fashion Week is early August. Fell through, but plan is to go this summer. That's the goal. Anywho, London I knew was gonna happen. Me and Raina had talked about doing London Fashion Week since we first met. Paris has been my dream. I want to live in Paris. I'm maybe more established there only because I studied abroad there. I have a host family and I know students there, a lot of French brands, and I know the city a bit better, significantly more than how I know London. And I just love Paris. It's just my dream, and it's just like fashion in Paris. It's to die for. I do see Paris more as that kind of couture, higher end, more designer brand compared to, I think I know way more emerging independent designers and based in London than I do in Paris. But again, all these designers too, a lot of them are like CSM grads, which of course is in London. They move around from like Berlin. Oh my God, I would love to go to Berlin. Italy to Berlin to London and then go to Paris. They'll show in Paris, do like a showroom there. So they're all moving around again too. So all those communities are in all the cities. So I don't want to just say Paris is one way, London is the other. That's not the case. The industry kind of moves within itself. I had to be home for a wedding and then a work commitment that I made that timing wise, it just didn't make sense. So I did have to come home at the end of London Fashion Week, but I do feel like that chunk of time was a beautiful, perfect amount of time. I would have loved to be in Paris, but I think it happened obviously how it was supposed to. There's always going to be next season. That's the mindset, that's the mentality. I really think London, especially right now with where I am in my career, is kind of like a more up and coming fashion week, I would say, than a New York or than a Paris. And this is just my opinion, but I feel like London and Copenhagen are kind of in that world. And I feel like my career aligns with that for sure. Again, I know I'm not going to be invited to these designer house shows just yet. Me with my pick, trying to get in there. Really trying, you guys. Where I am in this like perfect, beautiful space of emerging designers, independent designers, seeing all these beautiful artists grow, and just that like grit that you have when you're not even starting out, because so many of these people have been doing it for years and years, but like you just want it so bad. You could just see it in the quality of their work. It's just so beautiful. So I'm so honored to be at the shows and be at the place that I am at in my career. Every second of it is beautiful in and of itself. I'm not trying to compare myself or belittle myself and saying that I'm smaller or still emerging. That's not the case. I'm very proud to be here. I do think that when it comes to Fashion Week, I want to be realistic as to like where I can go, what shows I can make, etc. I didn't want to like go to a city and be like, I'm here, and be like disappointed, you know? I'd make it work either way because I'm an outreach fiend. So hopefully something would have come of it. Again, also so many New York people are traveling constantly. Would have made it work, or DM'd someone and like styled a shoot or something like that. I think that gives me so much comfort doing a project. And so I feel like that was a super comforting thing too, approaching London Fashion Week, knowing that we were doing that shoot with Sana. I just feel like knowing that I was producing art while I was there and had something to show for like made me feel even better. That's just like my overthinking, overcompensating thing in my brain where I feel like I need to like prove myself a bit. I didn't need to style a shoot to feel like I did enough there, but it surely helped. So that definitely felt good. And that was just Raina setting it all up and all of us just doing that for fun. We all pitched in for film, and Raina covered the studio, which was so incredibly nice. And I packed all the styling stuff, figured all that out, pulled some things from some showrooms, and Bridget from Armory made it happen. So it was all, again, community effort for that. Susie was a huge help to London and being an established influencer and creator there. She was so kind to bring me as a plus one and tell me about the Yaku show. I know him through Susie and watching Susie's videos, so that was so much fun. And she and her friends and everybody was just like, so again, if you want to be there, come. It was so nice and fun to do Fashion Week things with her. Susie's mentality about it all was just so aligned with mine as well. And beyond that, seeing designers whose clothing and like career I've followed for a while, like especially Sinead Goriev, like loved her stuff for a bit now. So getting to attend something like that where I'd just be like in my room screenshotting and like obsessing over what she's doing was just really, really cool and kind of surreal. People ask me what was my favorite show that I saw, including New York and London. I think my favorite thing I did, and I'm going to count this because I just need to gush over her right now, is Ellie's showroom. I can't even put into words how much that day meant to me and how trying on her pieces, like how surreal and crazy that was. Just getting to meet her and gab about life and nothing to do with the industry, everything to do with the industry. We covered so many bases and just like vibe with her in her studio. I was like, where am I? What is happening? This is so crazy. I cannot believe I'm putting this on. I cannot believe I'm talking to this girl who I hold her up here. Like I find her so incredible, so talented, and the way she makes clothing, I know I've said this a million times, but for women, literally makes me emotional. And she is just so kind and considerate. We spoke about couture, we spoke about plus size and sizing and boning and custom. The way she spoke about couture being for everybody, seeing the time and care that she puts into her work. They were working on her upcoming collection and getting to see just a taste of what's coming. The mood board and the sneak peek, so insane, like top tier, next level. Like that was my highlight of this past few fashion weeks, honestly, this year. It was so incredible. It meant so much to me that she allowed me to come into her studio. I'm messaging her on WhatsApp. I'm like, you made my life. You have no idea how much. She's like, okay, girl. You just don't know how much your work means to some people. Like I really look at her and her pieces, they're art, and getting to put that on my body, she's so good. And that was just so next level. I also want to shout out Ben Doctor because his show was so amazing, truly. And it is really just like that man and like a few people. Again, I don't know what it was like this season, but from my season, his debut that I styled, it's really just him. My battery did die. We have a new one in. That is a sign that, girl, you need to wrap it up, even though I feel like I only answered like 2 or 3 questions. Getting to see the evolution of Ben and his not only designs but the finishings and the production of his shows. Like he just keeps getting better and better and better and tweaking and refining his skills. It's just really beautiful to see. I loved Skybus. His collection was so incredible, and I texted him right after. I was like, I already know I want to pull like a bajillion things. That was so inspiring. The pops of red, the 60s, and this is, again, I talked about this because when we did Rotten Goodbye, which was his debut runway show that I styled, we talked obviously about the inspirations and who Ben Doctor is and his brand, etc. And it was a lot of 1960s in New York mod, but grunge, something that's so like proper and kind of fine-tuned, edging it up, punking it up, zhuzhing the hair. The hair on this collection was so next level. I'm so mind blown by it. Collection, like truly, also it's just like my style and what I'm into right now. I love the stewardess, flight attendant-esque vibe, and I'm just so into 1960s mod aesthetic. I've been into it. I love it so much, and I love how Ben does it and how like sexy and edgy and cool it is. I feel like you like can't deny just wanting to be that girl when you see a Ben show. Like it's just so enticing, and so I'm just very proud of him, and I'm so glad that he did a show. So impressive being able to accomplish something like that when you're that small of a brand. It's you and your hands and like your friends willing to help out, and then slowly building your team, getting recognized as an emerging brand, and getting coverage in publications and editorials, etc. I just root for him. I think all but 3 of the shows that I went to, I've styled for those designers and have styled runway shows for those designers. So seeing Mila Sullivan and Tyler and Ben present something and like knowing the behind the scenes and like how much work goes into it, how next level each and every one of them are getting and topping themselves, it's so incredible to see. From my perspective, cool to see the evolution of designers and their creative beliefs, and even like the sprinklings of the collection that's coming next, and then seeing it come into fruition and like finalize. It's really rewarding. It's such a cool part of being in this industry. Fashion weeks are just such a great opportunity for me, both a stylist and a content creator, to like reflect on growth and relationships with designers and develop those, really appreciate them and really appreciate my community that I have in New York. And so like getting to go abroad and establish kind of like a new thread and also reconnect with people that I've known prior, that is just the coolest, most rewarding thing. Supporting myself and believing in myself enough to like send me to London was a leap of faith. Doing it with Raina was so special. She's been such a huge pillar in my career in terms of like people that have believed in me and pushed me and like have been there. I've called her when I'm crying on the street, when I was like let go from my job, and I'm calling her when I found the greatest news and like booked my dream job. So it's like she's been through that whole ebbing and flowing, and I've been there for her and her ebbing and flowing. And so getting to do that with her, we're just big on pushing each other to reflect and to not doubt ourselves, and also just appreciate like you are, even if it doesn't feel it, further along than you were 2 steps back. So just like keep going. There's no point in comparing or asking what could have been, or, you know, regretting or longing for. You just gotta believe in yourself. I wouldn't say I'm a competitive person by nature whatsoever, but I would say I'm a very driven person. I think that's been my biggest push, is just like wanting more and knowing that I'm capable of it. That's how I was able to go across the pond and just saving up money here and there where I can. I definitely was not shopping really at all, was putting a pause on like random certain things that I spend my money on to save up. And boys, my credit card, I gotta work on paying that off now, and I will. And that's the thing, is money comes and goes, and these experiences are so precious. And when you believe in your friends and your career, and knowing that establishing these connections and doing this is going to be worth it, then it's worth it. Dream client, I feel like you guys know I'm not the most, like I'm not a personal stylist or celebrity stylist by any means. I would definitely dabble for like the right person and right partnership. I love music videos and that whole world. I love what Claro and Nancy do as like a stylist artist combo. I think they're incredible, and like having a relationship like that would be really cool with someone who's just like a complete and utter muse. Like that would be insane. I always have said I've always wanted to work with Caroline Polachek. I think she's a stunning human being. I think her voice is incredible. I think her look is absolutely captivating, and I think her taste in fashion and just her niche and her career path and everything, I just really admire her. Someone that I've always looked up to and had my eye on. Caroline Polachek would be incredible. And as for a brand or a designer right now doing a collaboration of any sort, Miss Claire Sullivan is 100% my girl. I think she's so incredibly talented. So any opportunity to work with her in any sort of capacity, style a campaign, style a shoot, assist her, trim her toenails, I would do it. So which fashion week had you more gagged and why? Which is better? I'm not even capable of answering this because I've only ever done Fashion Week once, and I've done New York Fashion Week technically since I've moved here, so like 8 years. Well, I guess I did London once prior when I was assisting Sam with Billy. I really do love London and like love London Fashion Week so very much. I just don't know it as well as I know New York, so I feel like I have to say New York, but that's because it's like my community and my friends now. And so like getting to see my friends and designers that I've worked with and collaborated with present their collections and like follow their dreams and amount to all these incredible things, like that's always going to do it for me. I mean, seeing anybody do that is so incredible, and I followed so many UK based designers and also foreign designers that then show in London, you know what I mean? So just seeing that is always incredible. But I don't know London Fashion Week just yet enough to say which is better. I think I really enjoyed London this year a bit more, but it was also, you know, the newness, the excitement, traveling, being with Raina, seeing Susie, seeing so many people, connecting with so many other creatives, seeing new designers I've loved for forever, Ellie, George, going to George's showroom, that whole experience that I talked about in my vlog of like having the agency of picking a look and having the model come out and touching the clothing and being told the story behind a piece. That sort of intimacy in my industry is something I crave, because there is so that exclusivity and that distance that people purposely create, and having that intimate experience was just like, it was so meaningful for me. So London was better this year for me. I enjoyed it more, but for so many reasons, and there's special cases, of course. As you can see, the sun is like literally setting. We've gone through the whole afternoon with each other. This is crazy. I'll do like 2 more questions. Okay, wait, we can throw in this really quick question. Where's your gray jersey dress from? I'm thinking it's this dress because someone asked this and is maybe looking into this video for the answer. I got it from Real Life is Liv. Liv, this is the designer of the dress. Bought it from Liv. Also going off my gray dress. Miss Flora. As to my fave look that I wore when I was in London, personal favorite for her was the gray dress. That is so nice. That gray dress has gotten so much love. It's so sweet. I literally adore you guys. Thank you for saying that, because that outfit also was so simple. Like literally shoes and a dress, which I rarely ever do. It was definitely up there for me, but I feel like it's gonna be the navy with the orange pops. This look was just, it was really, really fun. This whole day was fabulous. I felt so good in it. It felt like pajamas. First of all, it's the comfiest little romper ever. Everlasting Sprout is the brand, but I also got it from Real Life is Liv, who again is just simply my favorite vintage curator. So if you want to catch these vibes at all, you better follow her and turn on her post notifications, babe. That's what I've got on. Someone asked, how did I start my styling career? Whenever I get these questions, I just point people to, I think it was my first Styling 101 video, because I go through from the start how I got into styling. So I'm gonna point you to that video, because it is a video in and of itself, because there's never just one way to get into this career. It's like a million steps and people and connections and things that you do and choices, etc. So that definitely goes into more depth for sure, and need to do more Styling 101 series videos. I will get on that. I must. I think when people were asking my favorite show, it could also mean not a show that I attended. So just want to shout out one of my favorite shows that I was dying to go to, but didn't happen. But one day I will see a Dilara Finniclo runway in real life. Okay, let's manifest that. Yeah, she blew me away. It was perfection to me. It was absolutely incredible. My friend Emma went, and I was texting her all about it. I was like, girl, how did it even feel to like be in that room? I think Dilara is so incredibly talented in her storytelling and the overall head to toe of her shows and her collection, and the makeup, hair was insane. I think someone told me to put some of my favorite makeup from the shows or like collections. I loved the hair and makeup at Ashley Williams. I am obsessed with that sort of like doll, like banana yellow pastel-y world right now, as you guys know. Very like scoliosis, Marlene. I love everything to do with it. Oh, the accessories. I'm sorry, at Ashley Williams, you guys. This brand based in Shanghai, I believe, did all the accessories for her. YVMIN. They absolutely destroyed it. I think my absolute favorite was just the houses, like from the dollhouse, and them being used as crowns, like the beds from dollhouses, plastic, worn as tiaras. So good. But Dilara definitely took it for me. I think I was speechless. Vaquera like just presented today, and I've seen some snippets, but I need to look through. But I love Vaquera so much, and as you guys know, the big pearls have been taking over. My friend Hadley made very much Vaquera inspired huge pearls for me for a campaign that I styled, and since then I've been wearing them out, and she used them in her show, and they're just so fun, so playful. Vaquera's just that girl, like absolute blueprint, and I just think they have the finger on the pulse, had the finger on the pulse with the sailor hats. I saw that they put like an equestrian all white kind of number. I'll put it here. So sickening. I also love the premise of like the spotlight of the show. So Vaquera is definitely one to watch. I think they showed in Paris. I feel like this is a good place to end. Top 3 favorite things about the UK. It's a great question. Again, I need to spend more time to consider all things about the UK that are so lovely and make it so great. I think one thing that I really enjoy just walking around and being there on a weekday, experiencing Fashion Week and working, but also seeing everybody else, kind of how they carry themselves throughout the workday. Seeing people like in their work clothes, like literal corporate men just grabbing a pint middle of the day with like their buddy, or like a group of girls out clearly like with their work totes, blank street, having a key, just like sitting on a table, like the work-life balance. And I feel like this is just such a stark difference from the States, because the States is so like tightly wound when it comes to work-life balance. It's so opposite. Again, I don't really know how it exactly plays into work and life balance, so if you live in the UK, please let me know if this observation is totally off. But it just seems like they're more chill about it, and I think it's so beautiful and so healthy, as long as you're not, you know, totally taking advantage and like just like not working and you still have a work ethic. I think it's incredible. Again, the ratio of like work days to weekends, 5 to 2, one of the two being Sunday, being basically disabling, crippling anxiety of like Sunday scaries. And it's like, great, so we have one day off. Like, it's actually crazy. By having kind of those lax middle times of like lunch can last maybe longer than an hour, you're not needing to work constantly every single 5 days, 9 to 5 or however long it is. I do really respect that approach to a work-life balance. So many people outside, everybody enjoying the weather. It was just really good vibes. And I think the pub culture really curates that, or like just like enables that to happen, which is really cool. You don't have to get an alcoholic beverage at the pub. It's just more like a public space for people to like sit outside and hang. And I think Susie was telling me like pubs have to let you pee or like use the bathroom because it's like a public forum or space. And I was like, that is so dope. Like, nobody wants to let you pee in New York. I do love the kind of like food culinary traditions that all kind of also revolve around people and gatherings of people. I love how tea brings people together. Having a cup of tea, it's like that custom is so lovely. Me and Raina were, speaking of peeing in this like really cute little cafe, and these two like serious corporate bot men were like popped in and they were like, do we have time for a tea, like asking the woman at the front, and then she was like, of course. And like, because I think they were like transitioning between like day to night service or whatever, instead of grabbing a coffee or a meeting, they like had a cup of tea. And I'm like, this is just so precious. And I feel like so many people rely on caffeine here. And it's also like, sometimes I'll even get a coffee because it's like, we're going to get coffee. Do you know what I mean? I don't even want a coffee. And it's like meeting people or catching up with people like, yeah, let's grab a coffee. And it's like at 3 o'clock and I already have my coffee. And yes, I know I can go get tea here, but it's not as implemented within the culture. Tea, even high tea, a Sunday roast is super fabulous. Like going to a pub and getting pub food and like just having a cozy Sunday roast. Like, are you kidding me? On like a rainy, cozy day, the fact that so many people go out and do that, at least I think, again, I don't know. I just love the kind of like small, intimate food traditions of sorts that's kind of sprinkled within the culture. I think it's so lovely. Last thing, I'm trying not to be basic and like say like slang, or there's just so many like endearing things about the British accent. But one thing I did notice, and this is so random, there's no trash bins. Like, there's no trash, which keeps it a very clean city. But I'm like, I can't throw a thing out in this city. Oh, the tube is so intimate and tight knit. Close together. And like, I'd be scared to be that close in a New York subway. But I guess you don't have to worry about as much. You don't have to worry about GUNs as much. That's what I love about the UK. That's my third. And take public transportation in peace. Oh, okay, I'll add on to that. I love the buses. I love the double-decker buses. I loved sitting and looking out and being so high up. Oh my God, I just loved being up, high up. Felt like it was on a little roller coaster. It was so much fun, and that's my final answer. Sorry, that was literally lame. I'll work on thinking of a better answer, and if I remember, I'll talk about it in my next video. You guys are literally the best. Thank you so very much for sending these questions. I adore you. Thank you for being interested and even caring about this debrief. Hopefully I will be back in London or exploring the UK. I would love to see more and more and more of it. Conquering more cities and more fashion weeks together. That is the goal. That is the dream. I'm so lucky and fortunate to be able to do this. I'm so grateful to every designer, every brand, every person that allowed me into their creative space and to absorb that all. It was truly, truly a dream and a reminder that I really love what I do and I am on the right path. Praying and hoping we get to travel more for work. That would be the dream. I appreciate you guys so much for being along for the ride and supporting me and watching this. Y'all are truly, truly, truly the best. As always, I'll put my Instagram and my TikTok here. Let me know what else you guys want to see. Have a fabulous week. Sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.